We're here for the final race at the Britcar MSA British Endurance Championship at Donington Park. A 4-hour race. How are you feeling, Jake?
Very excited. The championship comes down to this race. Everybody's been preparing for weeks. It's actually been 12 weeks since the last meeting at Snetterton. Everybody's just waiting to get started.
It's a race that's going to start in this daylight, bright sunshine as well, go into darkness. It's going to be an incredible final race here at Donington.
It's the best way to go out with a big final meeting, 4 hours rather than 2 or 3. Everybody's going to be pushing right to the limit, and even if championships are decided halfway through, nobody's going to want to get out of their cars until the finish line. It really is make or break.
Thank you very much, Jake and Rachel. It is make or break. It couldn't be any tighter if it tried. Martin Byford from Javier Marcelo. That's where the championship battle is. But having said that, anyone of the top 7 are still mathematically in with a chance of winning the Britcar MSA Championship here. Martin Byford's got to be fairly smug though. He's sitting in that prized position of being top of the championship. But here we are, Britcar Round 8, Donington Park. We've been here before and we know what the place can hold for us. Redgate Corner, that first lovely right hand corner which leads you on through Hollywood and then the famous Craner curves down into the Old Hairpin. As you come through the Old Hairpin and under Starkey's Bridge, you've then got the Swans curve before you get into McLean's. You climb up the hill as you come into Coppice Corner and that leads you onto the back straight, the Dunlop Straight, which you come down at a fair old rate of knots in these GT cars before you get to the Fogarty S's. A very quick profile to the S's. You've got to watch out for the sausage curbs that are in place now, and then you've got the Wheatcroft Straight. That's a lap at Donington Park. It is 1.95 miles and it's going to be all action for Britcar.
So Barwell Motorsport have sealed pole position for this event, and it's going to be Richard Abra who talks us around the pole lap. So Richard, talk us around Donington.
So, first time I've seen this actually. Very wet conditions to start off with. We were having problems with our traction control settings, so I was being very, very gentle on the throttle. So coming up to Redgate here, 5th gear, braking just after the blue line, all the way down to 2nd, turning the car in, trying to stay off the curb, get the car nice and straight, bit of oversteer on the way out. Flat out here, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and maybe just pinching 5th. Big lift here, it's nice and greasy. In the dry, that'll be flat out. On the brakes again here, down to 3rd gear, turn the car in, get the car nice and straight before getting on the power, bit of oversteer on the way out, and being as brave as you can underneath the bridge there, very greasy, all the way up the hill. Lifting off here because it's very greasy again, and then trying to get the car nice and straight before you hit the brakes. Turn the car in, staying off the curb again, getting on the power on the way out. Brake as late as you dare here. Turn in blind, can't see the apex, and then just let the car run out, go where it wants to go, bit of oversteer again. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then 5th before we get to the end of the straight. Brake just before the hill, and then all the way down to 2nd gear. Stay off the big sausage curbs because they'll chuck you off. Get the car nice and straight, on the power, all the way to the line.
So I remember you winning the 24-hour race. I spoke to you first of all. You were lost for words completely. Have you found words now to describe what it was like?
No, it's been such a, since that race we've had so much good press about it, and it's a very popular victory. We had such a good time, and thinking back now, we just want to do it again now.
Well, can you believe it actually happened? And you were doing so well. It was kind of the last few hours. It was kind of obvious you were going to win. What was that like?
Well, we took the lead, I think, halfway through, and then we just thought, we've got to do the best job we can in our class. We didn't think an overall win would be possible with the pace of the Class 1 cars. But every time I kind of look at the screen, we're still in first. So it was only the last hour that I thought, look, we could do this in the rain with our fuel consumption over our nearest competitors. So yeah, it was a brilliant win. Really enjoyed it.
And so now, next 24 hours, is it just giving you that hunger to carry on?
Just want to do more now, yeah. It's all about 24-hour racing, absolutely.
And doing the 4-hour race today compared to 24 hours, do you feel you got that confidence? Is it like a walk in the park?
No, it's not going to be a walk in the park. This car's a very big step up from our BMW. Still learning it, new team, new car, so we'll see how we get on.
So on the grid for the last race of the season, and there's a few unfamiliar faces this time, Rachel.
There really is, but there's such a buzz and everyone all coming together, everyone chatting. It's going to be a great race.
Okay, so with a few new cars, there'll be a few new drivers as well. Let's go find them.
Javier, how are you feeling right now?
Well, anxious. We want to get out there and race. We've been waiting a long day for this, so anxious.
And for you, driving with it as bright as this or going into darkness, what are you more confident over?
Probably, well, it's easier at day, it's nicer at night.
Yeah.
And the difficult bit is right the bit in the middle, which is like right now, the sun is in some places very difficult to see. So
It's blinding actually as well.
Yeah, it's some blinding corners. So yeah, that's the difficult bit is going to be in half an hour.
Well, okay, can we go to the end of the car? Because I want to have a look at something up here. Your fan base. Tell me about your fan base.
Okay, I have these fantastic kids in the States, in the school in the States, that decided that they enjoy following us in Britcar. So they keep sending messages through Facebook and so on. So they give us support. They send all kind of support messages. And I decided it was a good race to have them with me in the race and have them on the car, as you can see. So it will be a very crowded Mosler this time.
So down here with the Bull Run Lotus driver, Martin Byford. Martin, at this stage, you really can't afford to take anything for granted, can you?
Absolutely not. No, it's we've got a small lead in the championship, but it's not done. We've still got this race to do. We still need to earn the points. We still need to do the job that we've been doing all season. And we've got to go out there and push and give these guys some competition. They're not going to give it to us for nothing, are they?
No, indeed. Now, all you've got to do as a team is basically get to the 50% mark to be able to be eligible for points. But with it being 4 hours, it's going to be a bit harder this time, isn't it?
It's a 4-hour race, and that's how we see it. We're not really looking at that. We're looking at a 4-hour race, and we're looking at to go out and win the class in a 4-hour race. And if we do that first and foremost, then everything else should come to us. But as you say, it's a tough job to do. The deal's not done, and there's a lot of people banging around think it's sorted. It's certainly not. There are still, I believe, 7 cars right now, as we stand on the grid, 7 cars that can still win this. So we might be in the front at the moment. We've got to be at the front in 4 hours' time.
So down here with the GT Academy and their new driver, Dan Mitchell. Dan, you must be living on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, of course. Any race day is a good race day. Why wouldn't you be excited to be here?
Now, obviously, you've had quite a long process to get to this point. I mean, the team has been working very hard with you through the training process. Do you feel totally and utterly prepared for this now?
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed an improvement in myself in a lot of different ways, and especially driving in the last 2 months that we've been here. So, yeah, I've been working really hard since I've been here. I know that this is my one opportunity to make an impact, so I'm trying to make the absolute best of it.
So, obviously, the GT Academy has been a fantastic process for you. What is it like to go from a living room on your PlayStation to a racing driver in such a short space of time?
Yeah, I mean, when I won the Academy, I was pretty much in shock and almost speechless. So sometimes you do still have to kick yourself. Wow, I'm driving a GT4 car. It's pretty incredible, just from a video game.
Well, we're great to have you here on the grid. It's good to see you, and hopefully there's a strong result at the end of the day for you. Good luck.
Well, Flick, first of all, a female in a racing car. I love this, and it's becoming more and more, popular, the male-female divide in motor racing. What do you think of it? Do you think it's still shocking to see a female in a car?
I think sometimes it's surprising.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as unusual as it used to be, and I think that's a good thing. I think women are becoming more of a main attraction in motorsport, and I think it's nice to see us out mixing it with the lads and showing them that we're not as bad as drivers as they think we are.
Well, how did it work? Did you approach these guys? Did they approach you? How did you become part of this team?
I've actually raced Caterhams for 6 years. So I wanted to break into some endurance racing and wanted to stay with the same team that ran me in my Caterham.
Right, we're under the clock at Donington.
See, better than me already.
Yeah, seeing the sunshine. What can we say?
Well, last race for the
race.
endurance.
Yes.
How are you feeling? How's it been for you this year?
It's been good.
Yeah?
It's been good, yeah. Double the grids. That's got to be good news. And next year with 3 grids, yes, we're going to have a lot of work to do. So we've got the GTs coming back, we've got the productions coming back, but we've now got production sports cars as well.
Wow.
So, grids are going. to be busy. We're coming back here. We're going to Brands GP. We're doing Silverstone on the International, Silverstone on the Grand Prix, and.
When do you start preparing for something like this for next year? Like, or are you preparing for it now? Is it already going on?
No, it started in July, and we've booked up 6 of the 7 races that we're planning.
That's incredible.
Already. Well, it's not.
You want to do it all, don't you?
Yes.
7 of the 7.
I don't want to be here during the winter.
No, exactly. And for you, what is it? Is it about getting the name out there? Is it reputation of Britcar? How do you get people to come back again and again and again?
I think it's been said by top football managers and others, many others, that you have to improve. Everything that you do has to improve. The quality of the product has to improve. And looking at this grid, this is the best grid we've had this year. But this is the grid for next year. These guys are trying us out today to see how good we are, and they've suddenly said, this is good, you know? And there's a good atmosphere and a good smile from 1 or 2 people.
Don't know who they could be.
No, I don't know.
Don't have a clue. But James, I've enjoyed this year's been incredible, and well, we've got one more race to go.
You got married as well, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah? How's that going?
It's going very well, James.
Is he behaving himself?
He's behaving himself, yes. Cool. Thanks, James. He's doing great. But anyway, thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure.
Look forward to seeing you next year,
James.
James.
It's always my pleasure.
Thank you, James.
Good.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter Keene.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Any minute now, the lights are about to go off for the final race of the year.
Duncan, it's all yours, fella.
Thank you very much, Jake and Rachel. Yes, it is definitely all me, Duncan Vincent, in the commentary box this time. No Joe Tanner. Joe is elsewhere doing other things around the world this time. And let's see the cars at Donington for the final Britcar of the year start their rolling lap behind the pace car. This is going to be an absolute firecracker. You're guaranteed it. The whole grid of cars, we've got over 20 cars out there, and well, it's going to be Martin Byford, is it going to be Javier Marcelo? But on pole position we have got the Pool and Abra, the Aston Martin there. Then we've got the Mosler in second place, Marcelo is in second. The Paul Bailey Ferrari is third on the grid, and fourth we see Gamsky and Robinson, and also John Gaw going to be in that car. Fifth place for the Ultima GTR, and then sixth place we get the Ginetta G55 GT3 car of Mole. In seventh place, we've got Martin Byford's Lotus Evora. Eighth position for the GT3 Cup car. In ninth place, we've got the new Dodge Viper, Wilkins and Scott. Looking forward to seeing them. And then the Chevron GR8 Track Torque Racing in 10th. 11th place, we've got the G55 Cup car of the Fall Sport. And 12th, we have got David Pittard's 996 Cup car. In 13th, we've got the Top Cats Racing Marcus Mantis. And in 14th place, we've got the RGN Motorsports Nissan GT4 car. 15th, we've got the Redgate Virgo Motorsports G55 car. And 16th place for our other Nissan GT car. 17th place for Andy Holden in his TVR Jarius. And well, here we're going to go. This is going to be an absolute, as I said, firecracker. But already we've got one car who's going to be starting from the pit lane. That's the number 89 car. You can see him just burbling down the pit lane there. Sharp and Pittard. Well, choosing to start from the pit lane. It's a 4-hour race, so they've got plenty of time to make that back up. And already you can see the lights starting to dim. This one is going to go through into the right, guys. And here we go. We come up to take the green flag, and it is go at Donington for the final round of the Britcar MSA Championship, the Endurance Championship, down towards the first corner of Redgate. And it is that beautiful Aston Martin GT3 car, the Aston Martin Vantage, and everybody else in this championship is just very lucky lucky that Poole and Harbour didn't pick that car up earlier on in the year, because if they hadn't been playing with their BMW M3 GTR car, who knows where the championship would have taken them. Early laps, lots of time, people just trying to toy for a few positions there, but straight away up the inside of the old hairpin goes the Mole and Rattenbury car, and they're not taking any chances whatsoever. They get past the lovely little Ferrari there of, I should say, John Gaw's run car. John Gaw will be making an appearance in that car, but that was Whit Gamsky just getting done there as we went towards the old hairpin. But plenty of time to go. You'll see they've got the lovely number boards which will illuminate themselves as the light starts to disappear. There you can see that on Javier Marcelo's Mosler as he makes his way through Coppice and onto the Dunlop Straight. And there we go, you can see the Aston Martin still weaving about, still trying to get some tyre temperature in that car, and that's obviously very, very important with these big wide slick tyres, and the temperature outside is pretty cool. But as we see, another good overtaking manoeuvre, and Martin Byford getting done up the inside in towards Redgate Corner. Martin being very gracious here, letting the Porsche 997 come through, the Team Parker Racing Run Porsche. And you can see the new sausage curbs there that have been put in at the Fogarty S's. These new sausage curbs obviously designed to stop these cars cutting the corners, as we've probably seen the touring cars do many a time before. But just look at the speed of that Aston Martin as it come through Craner Curves and the old hairpin, and he is absolutely gone, disappearing at the front. And that's the way he's going to want to have it, because we've got to be on it to win it, and Richard Arbra is not taking any prisoners in that number 18 car. Good battle further downfield, and let's pick up on these guys as they come up towards Coppice Corner. And it's the Bailey and Schultz car, the Bailey and Schultz number 3, the SB Racing Engineering car, who we have seen this year have all sorts of little mechanical gremlins. And we really do have to feel quite sorry for those guys, because we expect them to have won quite a few races up towards this point, and they did throw the gauntlet down to everybody, said they were going to win a race, but it hasn't happened yet. So this is their last chance this year to do it. Can they make a win in this one here? As we see the enormous Dodge Viper there make its way underneath the Porsche at the and that's Craig Wilkins here, the Fogarty SC, doing a cracking overtaking manoeuvre there. That is extremely big, that car. And you can see on the front they've all got the bright lights, but the Dodge has actually had an extra couple of lights put in there just to help visibility later on. And we saw the Top Cats car also going through there. Bit of smoke coming out the back of that. Now, was that just a little bit of tyre smoke, or was that coming from the engine or the diff area? But look at Byford straight away back up the inside. Byford not taking any prisoners. He knows what he has got to do. 4-hour race or not 4-hour race, Martin Byford is on it, and into the pits comes the Top Cats car. The number 35 car brings it into pit lane with Harry Fletcher at the wheel of that one. Now let's see if we can have a little listening to what the guys are actually saying here. We can hear the car. Very quiet, there's smoke coming out. Yep, there you go, it's a diff. They check the wheel bearings as well. So it's a diff issue by the sounds of it. It's not an engine. So it's very, very early in the days for that to happen. You can see the guys all checking the wheel bearings there. So absolute disaster for the Top Cats racing car, as again there's another overtaking manoeuvre, and it's down at the old hairpin, and it's Lee Mole. Lee really is getting the hang of the overtakes in towards that old hairpin there, and he passes the Paul Bailey Ferrari. And was Paul struggling there? Was the Bailey Ferrari struggling there? As Whit Gamsky goes past Craig Wilkins. Lots of overtaking happening here earlier in this race. Nobody was really out of position after qualifying, but look at Javier Marcelo in that big Mosler. He has got his American friends in spirit on board in the back of that car, and Javi carves past the big Dodge as they go through the old hairpin as well. That Dodge, a fantastic car, big V10 engine in that, and you can absolutely hear it thundering its way under Starkey's and towards the Swans curve there. Number 71 makes a good overtaking as well. That's Chris Hart at the wheel of that one, Chris Hart and Tommy Field, and we'll keep our eyes on that little car, because the Chevrons have been doing pretty well. But already into the pit lane comes the number 53 car in for a I think that's possibly an unscheduled pit stop there. That'll be Peter Smith at the wheel of that one, and Peter does climb out. Now, is this an actual pit stop, or have they got some sort of problem? There doesn't seem to be too much in the way of craziness from the mechanics, which is always a reassuring sign. But here comes Martin Byford in the Bull Run Lotus. We've seen him do so many giant killing drives this year, and this is just another one for Martin to score off the list here. He really has carved his way through the field, but there is a long way to go. It's a 4-hour race. Remember, anything can happen in a 4-hour race, and we're also going to get the nice added bonus, if you like it, of going into the dark. I keep saying that. This is going to feel like a proper Le Mans style drive for these guys, as Whit Gamsky now gets a fair bit of pressure from Craig Wilkins as he goes through the old hairpin and Schwartz curve area. But yeah, we're going to get a proper feel of the Le Mans 24-hour here at Donington today, as the Top Cats car has now rejoined the race down at the Fogarty S's. Oh, getting his nose chopped off there was the number 18 car of Richard Abra there, and that's not a place where you want to encounter somebody. Abra just got his nose cut off in that beautiful Aston Martin there, and a bit overtaken further behind. The Vantage Aston Martin, absolutely beautiful car, great car. As number 24 goes through, let's have a little chat about our number 24 car. That's Dan Mitchell at the wheel of that one, and that's one of the other Nissan GT Academy cars. As rumbling into the pits comes the number 3 car. We've seen that in the pits many times this year. Paul Bailey at the wheel of that one. Is this a scheduled pit stop, or have they got some sort of issue? It would be an absolute disaster. You can see the film crew rushing down the pit lane there to do some sort of homework there. Jake will be in there, you can guarantee he'll be in there like a ferret. Jake finds out absolutely everything needs to roll, but there's unlucky. Gamsky gets held up as they come in the Fogarty S's, and can Wilkins take control of that as they come down the Wheatcroft Straight and in towards Redgate? There's a possible overtake move here. Wilkins goes to the inside. Gamsky's hung out to dry. He just lost a little bit of momentum coming out of the Fogarty S's here, and that's a good overtaking manoeuvre there by the Dodge Viper. And the big V10 Dodge Viper with the lights ablaze goes down through Crane of Curves. Let's hand down to Jake in the pit lane for a little bit of info.
Down here with the SB Race Engineering Ferrari. Unfortunately for Paul Bailey and Andy Schultz, they've got an alternator problem. It's not recharging the battery, so it's killing their chances of overall victory. They need to win overall if they stand any chance of winning the championship, and this is the last thing they could possibly have asked for.
Well, thank you very much, Jake. As we say, Jake finds out absolutely everything for us down there, and an alternator problem. Nice pun as well. Killing the car it will be. Those lights, the heater inside the car, the windscreen wipers, these things suck a lot of juice, and if you've not got something to replace that juice in the battery, it's just not going to happen for you. So the SB Race Engineering guys get to work and try and get Paul Bailey back out onto the track. But let's just take a couple of little jump back. That was a cracking overtaking manoeuvre we saw by Craig Wilkins here at the top of Redgate Corner before they went through Hollywood. And that all happened about 150-200 yards earlier as they come through the Fogarty S's, when getting held up by one of the cars in front was Whit Gamsky. And a cracking opportunistic move. And a little bit further down the field, a little bit of action here. The number 18 car of David Pitter has finally managed to get past it. I thought he was coming in the pit lane. It looked like he was pulling back towards the inside. And it's going to become pretty difficult for me to try and identify cars as they're coming towards me. You can see there, but that looks like Marcelo is the third car in line there, or is that? Am I going to be proved completely wrong, and that's going to be an Ultima? No, it is Javier Marcelo in the Ultima, the Mosler, as we see a rather interesting shot of our safety car parked in the pit lane there. As, oh dear, they've gone from the pit lane and they're having to go back into the garage. This doesn't mean they're retired, this just means they're having to go in for a longer repair than first thought. So the SB Race Engineering car gets pushed away as we pick up the Bull Run car with Javier Marcelo in his wheel tracks. This is where the championship is, guys. This is Marcelo, and he's chasing down the Bull Run car. Remember, they're class structured here, so Martin Byford, canny guy that he is, just lets Javier Marcelo get past, and he knows it's all about the bigger picture. It's about the long run in this. It did look like he was about to have another go back up the inside as Craig Wilkins brings the car into the pit lane, and he will hand over to Aaron Scott. And Aaron Scott, a very quick man, notable from British GT Championship, so he's handing over to an extremely talented, quick driver. As we pick back up at the Fogarty S's, and it's the Hart and Field car coming through, the beautiful colour car. I do quite like that. As back onto the circuit comes our big Dodge Viper. You can see the other lights on the front of the nose section there. Just a little bit of added light, which they look like they've been pinched off possibly Flex Caterham there. But we'll maybe pick up on that later on. Obviously that will be a proper Dodge part, we would imagine. Here comes Jonathan McGregor, and he brings his Ultima down pit lane, and he'll be handing over, in fact it's Kyle Tilley at the wheel of that, he'll be handing over to Jonathan McGregor, and he's already done that as he's rolled back up the circuit. A pit stop missed by myself in the pits there, as through Coppice Corner. Now this Aston Martin is just stretching away at the front of the field. Richard Abra and Mark Poole must be absolutely delighted to be behind the wheel of that car, run by Barwell Motorsport. Barwell, who have been famous for number of years in GT racing, not just GT racing, anything in Britain Barwell Motorsport have been kind of associated with. This year though, they did take Ecurie Ecos Racing to the British DT Championship with Alistair McCaig and co, and look at the speed of that as it comes down through the Craner curves there. Beautiful shot of the brake disc glowing there. That's what we like to see. We'll hopefully pick up some exhaust glowing later on from some of these cars with their side exit exhaust, but you can see the brake disc absolutely glowing on that car. And my good friend Jonathan Adam, who races for the Beechdean Dairy Ice Cream team, he has told me just how good a car that Aston Martin is, and it's an absolute joy to drive. So Richard Arborough and Mark Poole really are getting some cracking track time. And who's that in that one now? Is that the Whit Gamsky car? Sorry, that will be Keith Robinson in that one now. Just checking his lights were working, having a little bit of a flash as he come out the pit lane and went down through Redgate Corner. So a lot of action happening in the pit lane just now. A lot of cars coming in. You can see all the pit crew must wear their Britcar high vis gear if they're in the pit lane. Marshall's also wearing their brake stuff, and our film crew as well. You probably saw Jake and Rachel wearing their beautiful kind of Dayglow orange Can You See Me Viz jackets as they come down the main straight. Let's see if we could pick up the exhaust glow on this Dodge Viper as it peels through there. You can see the brake disc glowing, absolutely beautiful. Look at the exhaust, look at that, right into the heart of the exhaust, and you can see the glow from that there. Just see just how hard they are actually having to work out there. That's going to be quite a big car for them as well. It's not an easy thing for them to drive about. It's a big car, it's got a lot of room there. You've got to make sure you're getting past these cars without coming into any contact. And Scott and Wilkins, they really do know how to drive that car. They've both shared these cars for quite a few years now. So back out onto the track, the number 73 car, and we get the Jones and Logie car there, and well, you can see just how quickly the light is starting to fall away now. It's side by side through McLean's. That's not really what the Bull Run Lotus is needing right now. It's not needing a V10 Dodge Viper up the inside of it there, but well, it's certainly got it as they come through McLean's and onto Coppice down the back straight. And one of the things you've also got to contend with in this, and it's difficult for us to see the cars coming towards us, it's also difficult when you're in the car. When you're in the car, you've got a rear view mirror there. That rear view mirror can get filled with extremely bright lights. So these guys all have a little technique of maybe just turning the mirror, tilting it that little bit. You've also got the kind of flick on switch you can put as well to help you. But did I see, a car at the side of the track? I did. I saw Jonathan McGregor there in the Ultima off at the bottom of Craner curves before the old hairpin. Not a place you want to go missing, and that car's low at the front left. Has he lost a wheel? Oh, disaster. Join us after a break and we'll find out exactly why. So the Ultima Jonathan McGregor does come through. The safety car has been scrambled to pick up the Ultima and possibly bits of debris that have come off that car. But what a disaster. And you can see him coming into the pit lane now in all sorts of trouble. That'll have scuffed away the floor, and it looked like the complete wheel assembly was gone. It wasn't just a wheel falling off. Everything looked like it was missing there, and he really is. He's needing to get out of the way. A little bit of shouting there. He was holding up. Was that the Bull Run car? It was. And you can see him, unfortunately, he just probably wouldn't, the car probably wouldn't turn for him, and he was kind of hemmed into a place in the pit lane there, but he has finally got away, and the Bull Run car has been released to its pit box. But yep, there's the wheel from the Ultima. So Johnny McGregor, if there's one thing you do not want in British motorsport, it's probably losing a wheel, especially the left wheel, just as you tip into the top of Craner curves. Either that or it's losing at church at Thruxton. But here we go, we're back under race now. We're back under racing conditions as the safety car pulls into the pit lane, and out comes the Bull Run Lotus, the Lotus Evora, which we have seen do some fantastic giant killing drives this year. We've got to pick up on that, and you'll hear me going on about that because Martin Byford really has been a star of the Britcar this year. Britcar 2012 really has been all about Byford in that little car as they make their way down the Dunlop Straight. A bit of flashing lights there. Is that Keith Robinson just saying, hello, I'm coming up behind you, I need to get past. He took over from Whit Gamsky earlier on, and we possibly will have John Gaw in that car as well. Now it's worth picking up on John Gaw. John Gaw is a quick man, but before we do that, Jake, in my ear, go on, take it away.
So down in the pits with Johnny McGregor. Johnny, that is one of the scariest things that can happen in a race, isn't it?
It wasn't great, yeah. So we went into Redgate. There was a bit of a clip from the front coming out of it. So I accelerated as normal down Craner curves, and the next thing, my front outside wheel overtakes me. complete with brake disc, brake caliper, wishbones.
Well, normally when an Ultima breaks down, it's not quite as dramatic as that, is it?
No, I mean, that's one thing that we haven't had a problem with, so whether or not we just hit a few too many curbs, I don't know, but it was pretty dramatic, so we've got to go and recover all our braking system now. So
can you get it all back together and get out there and finish on the podium, or is it looking a bit shaky?
No chance, no, it's gone. We don't even know where half the car is because it's somewhere down at the bottom end of the circuit, so...
Well, thank you very much, Jake. Yeah, as I thought, it did look like Johnny McGregor had lost absolutely everything from that front left corner. But as I was saying earlier on before we got down to Jake there, John Gaw, we'll have to keep our eyes on John when he gets in that number 4 car, because, oh, hang on, here comes Rachel with a little bit of info for us now.
I've just spoken to David Pittard. It's a throttle cable. We're hoping it's not going to take too long, but with this race right now, we just don't know. They're working away on it as we speak. You can see everyone going, everyone's focused on getting that throttle cable sorted.
So thank you very much, Rachel. Obviously John Gaw's getting more coverage than absolutely anybody here. A quick man though, racing the British GT Championship alongside Phil Dryborough from Production Glass Fibre and Kirkcaldy. So we'll have to keep our eyes on John Gaw's. That was the number 17 car though, cruising in the pit lane. That looked like it had a flat back right tyre that Lee Mole and John Rattenbury, and they're not actually going to get in. The Marshals, the Orange Army, are on their way to assist with that, and yet we've got a safety car. Safety car has been scrambled very quickly as the throttle cable has been replaced and fixed, hopefully replaced, not just fixed, on that Porsche, and they have come back out. So Rachel will be quite happy with that one. But there is a red light at the end of pit lane, and if we're fans of Formula 1, we will all know about red lights at the end of pit lane. You cannot go through them, as our Marshals, Eager Beaver Marshals, make their self safe as into the pit lane goes that Ginetta car. Just a quick safety car. The safety car's already pulled in and lights ablaze as they come down towards us. Try and pick a car, name a car, any car. Can you see one? Yes, right in the middle there we've got the number 24 car, but at the back we've got the Gamsky car, but there's a spin. That's Marcillo. Javier Marcillo goes onto the grass. The number 6 car spins at the top of Redgate, and that's an absolute disaster. Now, have they been in for a pits? Is that Manuel Cintrano, the changeover driver? I do not know, but was there contact with another car as Marcillo drops it at the exit off Redgate corner? They've got the car fired up. You can see the flames from the exhaust, and away it goes. Now, that's a very strange, uncharacteristic move from the Mosler. It's not something we've seen happen much this year. As over the sausage curbs, oh dear, it's getting very, very messy. And that was right in front of the race leader, right in front of the race leader, and that's just not what you want as your heart rate is high enough sitting in the wheel of a race car. As they come down towards Redgate corner, he's managed to clear that. I think that was one of the Porsches. It looked like the 73 car. I'm going to stick my neck out there. I'm not 100% sure though, but dearie, if it's not hard enough, then that happens to you. In towards Redgate. Oh, Marcillo spins! He spins now at the entrance to Redgate. Was there contact there with that other car, or did he just drop that there? That was a very difficult one to call. And it's raining! It's raining. Into the gravel trap comes another car, and that's a race leader. The number 18 car goes into the gravel trap at the first corner of Redgate. So an absolute disaster for them. These big slick tyres do not work at all when it's raining, and that's probably one of the things that helped Marcillo disappear there as the safety car comes out. You can see the rain falling in the gravel trap, and Richard Poole and Richard Abra Mark Poole car into the gravel at Redgate. So what an absolute disaster. They're going to have to try and scoop all the gravel out with that car, because that Aston Martin does have a big splitter in the front, and it will ingest or eat a lot of that gravel. As we see a very serious Jake trotting past the camera there. Jake will be going straight into the Barwell Motorsport garage. You can guarantee that he'll be finding out all the juicy gossip. Caught out by rain at Redgate. Well, we've seen that happen before in other championships, and the pit lane is now a hive of activity. We can see the yellow lights down at Redgate from where we are sitting just now. Oh, the number 73 car makes its way out. There's the Tommy Hart car as well on its way out. Chris Hart and Tommy Field getting a little bit excited, getting the names the wrong way round now. And there goes the number 3 SB course car. That'll be Andy Schultz at the wheel of that one now. Well, that was something we did not expect to happen. We did not expect that to happen, as the number 4 car also way out. That's the Invitational car. The Whit Gamsky, Keith Robinson, and possibly also John Gaw going to be getting to that car. But there you go. Marcillo spins at Redgate on the way in. And then a couple of cars later, caught out by the rain, as Aaron Scott steps out with that car. in the pit lane there. In goes the Richard Abra car. So we can see Marcelo's car getting, whoa, that looks like it's not going back on track. That's getting taken behind the little snatch area. So we'll need to find out. Jake's going to be a busy boy, as is Rachel, a busy girl in the pit lane, and we're racing again. We're now racing again at Donington. Obviously a little bit of moisture coming down there. Who's going to be bravest of all as they come in towards Redgate Corner? The Bull Run car with its green lights up the side there, you can see in second on the road as they make their way down through Hollywood and disappear onto Craner Curves. Obviously visibility for us is very difficult as Barwell Motorsport recover their Aston Martin. It'll be a case of getting the front bumpers off of that and trying to get as much gravel out as possible, and Jake's already there in the pit lane. Take it away, buddy.
So down in the pits with the Neil Garner Motorsport Mose there. It's in the pits. Javier, this couldn't have happened at a worse time, could it?
Well, there's never a good time for this, is it? Now, just Manuel spoon off. It was starting to rain, so it was a bit greasy. Made a mistake, off. This is what happens when you drive race cars.
Now you're lucky because in the Class 1s, everybody else who can score points has already fallen off. So all you've got to do is get that car going again and you can still win the class.
Apparently it doesn't seem as easy as that. It's quite complicated. There's no electricity in the car. So there's a bigger problem than actually being off. And yeah, apparently everybody decided not to finish this race. So it's a race to go back to the actual race.
I tell you what it is, it's a race between you and the Ferrari to who can repair their cars quick enough.
We'll probably clash again in the pit lane now.
I hope not, mate.
No, me too.
Get better soon.
Thank you very much, Jake. Great stuff there. No electricity in the car, have you? Well, it's electric in the pit lane just now, and it's all caused by the shower of rain. And who's that walking away down there? Is that Javier Marcelo making his way down to possibly have a word with somebody else in another garage? We'll find out if the camera picks back up on him, but looks like the track's starting to dry out pretty much now. Let's have a little listen to this car. Let's listen to that Bull Run Lotus. Absolutely gorgeous. And there's Javier Marcelo there. We could see him in the Barwell camp talking to Richard Abra, possibly apologising for what happened down at Redgate there. As leaving the pit lane, is that the Bull Run car again? Back out onto track it is. So we're well into the night now here at Donington Park. Temperatures falling, off come the wet tyres. And you can see the track, the pit lane starting to look a lot drier as well, so that's quite a good thing. But here we go, SB Race Engineering guys still in the pit lane as Javier Marcelo's Mosler burbles back out, de-gravelled, de-grassed, and hopefully a little bit more electricity in the car now, a bit of power to get that thing through the night. Green light end of the pit lane, get some lights on the end, exit of that car. There we go, lights have come on thankfully. You wouldn't want to try and drive around Donington Park at night. Very, very dark place. So who's this we've got coming down the pit lane now? Is this the Gamsky car? It is. That's a good spot. I'm quite impressed with myself there. I'm impressed. In comes the Whit Gamsky car. Who will be getting into that just now? That could be John Gaw about to step into the driver's seat as in comes Craig Wilkins back in the number 1 Dodge Viper also. So a lot of action happening in the pit lane just now. More action in the pit lane than actually on track for us to see, because when these guys come in, it's a hive of activity, and with every safety car sometimes it promotes another safety car. Things happen on the track. Drivers start to get a little bit more relaxed, tyre temperature drifts away, but you can see them coming down the back straight, the Donington straight in the distance. They come through that Fogarty S's then onto the Wheatcroft straight. So as we look at these 4 cars on screen, in the top left of the screen is a 997 Porsche number 73, which leads the race from top right, Bull Run Lotus number 51. Bottom left is number 71, the Hart and Field Chevron GR8, and number 4 in the bottom right, the Whit Gamsky Ferrari in 4th. And down at the bottom of the old hairpin, that is the David Pittard car. Is that Pittard car there, number 89? Sharp and Pittard stopped at the side of the track. That looked very low at the back right of the car there. Now, that's not a good thing for a Porsche, not a good thing for any car, but the engine's in the back, and I wonder if they've lost a wheel. That's one of the things that can happen after pit stops, but they are stopped just before Starkey's Bridge and the Schwartz curve, and that has brought out another safety car. So that Mercedes Britcar safety car has been very busy as Martin Byford wants a tear-off taken off the front of the Bull Run Lotus here. So as the number 73 Parker Racing Porsche GT3 rumbles past us in the pit lane, we have a little flick back to see Martin Byford's Bull Run Lotus in the pit lane. They're just sitting with the lights on now. Is there a problem with this car? As the mechanics are making their way back onto the car, obviously this car could have a bit of a problem here. They're under the boot at the back of it, and a very worried looking Martin Byford looks back to the garage there. Join us after the break to find out just exactly what the problem is.
Club and amateur racer. Here at GoRacingTV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I'm not sure still.
He hasn't been on TV.
It's all tension here. Martin, how is your nerve at the moment?
Well, I suppose the car's decided to go down fighting. She's given a little bit of a hiccup towards the end of the race here. So it's a throttle body issue. The guys are working on it now. We're going to get back out for the end of the race. Steve Wood has been along and told us that we have done enough for the championship. So although the mood is a little bit down right now, we want to be out. We want to finish the race. We want to take the checker flag, and that's what we're working away for. The guys are, they're not down. They're just working away. So not quite how we envisage finishing this, but we're going to finish it. We're going to be back out and we're going to take the checker flag.
And in about an hour, once you've done that, the party can then begin.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a good one, isn't it?
It may last some time.
Well, brilliant work there, Jake. Yeah, Steve Wood, he is the press man. He is kind of Mr. Britcar when it comes to anything press, just nipping down to tell Martin Byford they have done enough. So, the Bull Run Lotus is effectively the 2012 Britcar MSA Championship, and those guys will be giving themselves a big pat in the back. But as Martin Byford says, they don't want to win that and finish it in the garage. They want to be out there on the circuit racing. And that is a proper, true racer there, Martin Byford. Good to hear him say that. Didn't look like a man that had just been told he'd won the championship, I must say. He looked like a race driver wanting to get back out there. As in comes the SB Race Engineering Ferrari now. Is this enough? Is this the end of the day for this car? Such a shame if it is. Rachel's in the pit lane and she's going to be giving us a little bit update right away.
So, Paul and Andy, second in your class. It's been a race of... I love how you're just looking now, just smiling. You're both kind of bewildered. Tell us about your race.
Well, I'm just kind of relieved it's over, really. It was just one thing and another, and alternator, we thought. We replaced the alternator, replaced the wiring loom for the alternator, still nothing. And then we just about sort of thought, right, okay, if we can do a bit more, maybe we can salvage something. Yeah. And now it looks like the Cromwell Opinion's gone as well, so it's one of those days, you know.
Do you know what? And I remember constantly everyone thinking now, are they going to go back in the race? Aren't they? And I remember hearing you say, we're this many laps behind, this many, can we do it? And so what was it? Why did you keep on? Was it so you can come second in your class?
It was simply that. We needed to do 6 laps to get to P3 and we needed to do 17 laps to get to P2. So we did 18 and now we've called it a day because the car won't make it round anymore.
Oh, bless it. It's very injured right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be more injured if it keeps playing up like this, I tell you.
But second in class, congratulations to both of you.
So good to hear from those guys here. Still smiling that Paul Bailey and Andy Schultz, and that's a car that's had everything thrown at it this year, including, if I remember at Silverstone, was it Steel Gunge, Paul? I'm pretty sure it was, mate. but good to see them still smiling there, and hopefully we'll see them back next year at Britcar for 2013. There's the Bull Run guys. They deserve a cup of coffee or something a little bit stronger. So one of the mechanics looks at his watch there. Martin Byford comes out. He does look like a mechanic, doesn't he? Out he comes there, heading towards the pit wall, getting a picture taken. But it's all about Bull Run Lotus, that is for sure. Bull Run Lotus, they have been giant killing all year, but through the final corner comes the Whit Gamsky, Keith Robinson and John Gawker as they come over to take the checker flag and win the Britcar final round of the year. The old guard, as they could be called, take a well-deserved checker flag, the number 4 car there, and they will be absolutely delighted with that one as they go through the Craner curves. John Gaw at the wheel, just kind of stroking it home for those guys. In second place, we're going to see the big Dodge Viper coming through. But actually, we're getting a little bit of the champions. Here they come. It's the 2012 Britcar MSA champions, and the team are on the pit wall. And it's been a good couple of months for Lotus. The Formula 1 team have done a win with Kimi Räikkönen, and now Martin Byford's team, the Bull Run Lotus guys, have wrapped up the British MSA Britcar Championship. Stuck for words here. There's a very happy Martin Byford. Might not look very cool in his high-vis vest just now, but it is fantastic for these guys, and there is going to be one heck of a party. You can guarantee that. Jake and Rachel will be down there, and those two deserve a nice hot cup of coffee. So let's pick up the final results for round 8 Britcar Donington. Gamsky and Robinson win on the road from Wilkins and Scott. Hart and Field up there in 3rd position. A fantastic drive for them. And unfortunately, number 18 Aston Martin comes back in 4th position. The Barwell Run car off Richard Poole, Mark Abra. In 5th place, we've got the lovely Porsche, which did finally make it in, but I don't think there was anybody who didn't have a problem today. Let's hand down to Rachel in the pit lane.
Right, we've got our winners here. Congratulations, you win last year, you come back this year. You're going to come back every year and win?
We have no idea, but it was Keith and I haven't raced for 13 months, so
wow.
Yeah, so it was an amazing result really, and yeah, it's a hell of a comeback. And the car was faultless, and John and Keith drove as normal, and yeah, it was fantastic. We enjoyed it. The team were brilliant. Everybody helped, and yeah, it was just really good. It was a bit sort of touch and go at the beginning of the race. We thought, how are we going to get on? But no, the car and the drivers, yeah, it was fantastic.
So I was going to say, did it go according to plan, but did you expect it to go this well?
No, we didn't. We actually came out, let's just have some fun because we haven't been out in the car for so long. Yeah.
You didn't really have a strategy when you first started?
We never had
really.
So is that the key to winning?
We sort of just it unfolds as we go along. We have a rough idea, but we always just try and keep out of trouble. And the mixed conditions, well, we've done a great opening stint, and it's the fastest he's ever been round here, ever. Even from testing about 2-3 months ago when it was really warm. So he's found about 2 or 3 seconds in the past 2 months. We've done some testing. We had some tricky conditions in the middle, and our very good friend of the team, John, sort of done the last hour and a half, but he was under a lot of pressure because we weren't too sure whether the Dodge was going to stop. So John was pushing all the way.
So here we see the Classes Championship results. P1 in Class 1 is Javier Marcelo. P2 in Class 2 sees Phillips and Story. P1 in Class 3 is Adams, Green and Byford. And Class 4, Position 1 sees Sharp, Jones and Pittard. So Marcelo, Phillips, Story, Adams, Green and Byford and Sharp, Jones and Pittard are your class champions. But the overall Britcar champions, well, that is the Bull Run Lotus guys of Martin Byford, and he will be happy with that one. 244 points. It comes down to just a couple of points in it. Javier Marcelo's team with 241. Remember, there was 7 teams that could have gone in and won this actual championship at the end of it. So it's been an absolute cracker all the way through the year, just to prove that the class structure does actually work. It's 3 different classes in the top 3 positions. O'Neill and Huggins with 238 coming in 3rd place. In the top cat racing, Marcus Mantis. They'll be quite happy with that one. Unlucky for Bailey and Schultz in 4th position, but no doubt they will be back another day.
Well, Rachel, what an amazing end to the season, and Bull Run Lotus 2012 champions.
Very well deserved. They really are. And I think at the start of the race, we all had our idea who we thought was going to win and how it was going to play out. And it's gone completely the opposite.
Yeah.
It really has. It's been an incredible race.
And there hasn't been a single team today that hasn't had a problem of some kind.
And we're not talking like a little problem that it can be changed really quickly and really easily. We're talking about something where they were here for ages, people were rushing around. It's been a great endurance race.
And if that's what Britcar has been able to offer us for the last round of the championship in 2012, it sets things up very nicely for next season, doesn't it?
I cannot wait to see what next season has in store for us here. It's going to be fantastic.
So, as far as we're concerned, roll on 2013 for the Britcar MSA British Endurance Championship. See you next year.